Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kollabatla Karthik. I have secured All India rank 428 in this year UPSC Civil Services examination. First of all, I am very happy and I would like to thank my parents, the Almighty, and my guide and teacher Balalata Madam Garu for bringing me this success. Without them, it would not have been possible. So, to start with, I am from Vishakhapatnam district in Andhra Pradesh, and my father works as a superintendent production in Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited. My mother is a housewife, and my brother is doing his dual degree in computers. And coming to my educational background, I have done my schooling in Vishakhapatnam in a school named Itasi Timpani Steel City School, and my intermediate in Narayana Junior College, and I have graduated from IIT Bombay. I've done my BTech Mechanical Engineering in IIT Bombay, and I am 2017 pass out. After that, I have worked for 1 year as a management trainee in Tata Steel. Then I have quit my job in 2018 in the month of June and have started preparing for UPSC by taking coaching in Hyderabad. So this is my journey of UPSC preparation. There were many ups and downs in my UPSC preparation, but I have believed in my hard work and continued relentlessly my efforts, and the result is very much satisfied for me. So coming to the strategy of mine in this UPSC, my strategy was integrated approach. My strategy was integrated approach. That means not reading GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4 as silos separately. No, not that way. I have tried to integrate my preparation. The current affair examples which I use in GS1, I tried to use them in the other papers also. And also the quotations which I use in GS4, I tried to use them in the other papers. Similarly for essay, the entire knowledge I have used that, including the optional knowledge, to write good essays. In the similar way, when I started preparing for prelims, at the same time I used to start focusing on writing good answers. Yes, it is my first attempt, so I may not have the knowledge base, but I used to try to write the answers and show them to my faculties. So in this way, I could give an attempt to start towards answer writing, and this helped me a lot. In fact, after I cleared prelims, there was hardly 2.5 months, and in that short span of time I was able to manage all the subjects. Because so in that way, after prelims, hardly there is 2 to 2.5 months for giving the mains. So in that 2 to 2.5 months, I was able to work upon on my speed and my presentation skills, because I started writing answers right from my prelims preparation itself, at least 4 to 5 answers a day. So in this way, integrated approach was my strategy, right? And coming to GS 1, 2, 3, 4, my strategy for these papers was on three important things. First thing is speed. We must be able to develop our speed so that we can finish the 20 questions within the given time. That is the first thing I tried to work upon. Second thing is presentation skills. How much soever content I have, if I am not able to present it properly, then it may not reach the evaluator, and ultimately it will affect the marks. So presentation skills, where to draw the flowcharts, where to draw the diagrams, where to give the quotations, and how to structure the answer, whether in a point way or in a paragraph way. So all this I was trying to take care of. So this is the second dimension, that is the presentation thing. And the third important factor which I tried to focus on is content. How much relevant content do we have with respect to the UPSC syllabus? What are the various current affairs examples I can cite in my answers? How much quotations or how many quotations do I have in my hand to quote them in the GS4 answers or in the essays? How much data do I have which I can quote in the GS answers? So these are the three things: answer writing, presentation skills, and content, right? So speed, presentation skills, and the content, these three were the things which I tried to focus in the mains preparation, especially for GS 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I have told before also, I was using the examples in GS2 if needed in GS4 also, right? So in an integrated way I tried to tackle, because the name itself suggests GS is general studies. So if we go by that logic, the preparation for GS 1, 2, 3, 4 should be in an integrated way, right? So this is about my answer writing strategy. So coming to the ethics paper strategy, so ethics paper is one beautiful paper. Actually we can fuse, or we can converge all the thoughts we have in the ethics paper. There is a lot of scope in the ethics paper, right? We can express our thoughts, we can express our opinions, we are asked to express our opinions, we can cite the quotations, we have to cite the examples. So all these we need to take care of when we are writing an ethics answer. So some things which I made sure when I write an ethics answer is, first thing, I will try to connect it to the current affairs examples, any recently happened incidents. That is the first thing. Second thing, I would like to bring as many quotations as possible of Rabindranath Tagore, Mahatma Gandhi, etc. and so on, right? So quotations, and also I would like to bring case studies into my ethics answer, and ultimately I would like to give my opinion also. And also I would like to bring thinkers like Socrates and etc., who also gave a very much content in philosophy and ethics. So in this way, 3 to 4 things I used to make sure I had them in my fingertips, right? Quotations, the presentation skills, ideas of thinkers like Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore, and recent examples which are relevant to that answer. So all these I used to make sure I have written them in the ethics answer. This actually helped me a lot. In fact, we can go to an extent of citing Sanskrit lines also. Sanskrit lines also can be written for ethics answers. For example, there was a case study in 2019 mains GS4 where I had the privilege to use Yatra Naryantu Pujyante Ramante Tatra Devataha. So I was able to use this Sanskrit line when there was a case study related to sexual harassment on women. So in this way, we must be in a position to use and give as many dimensions as possible to the ethics paper, right? So this is about ethics paper strategy. And coming to the books and online sources, the first suggestion, or the first thing which worked for me and I am suggesting for you also, is minimum resources policy. Just go with minimum resources and maximum impact policy. What does this say? This says keep the resources as less as possible. Try to explore all the resources and find the resources which best suit your way of preparation for UPSC. Keep those resources with you, revise them as many times as possible, and make sure those revisions create an impact on your answers. So that is what I followed. For example, if we take current affairs, few suggest magazines in the market of some institutes. Few suggest newspaper and notes making from newspaper. Few suggest PIB, Press Information Bureau. Another guy will say PRS is also a good source of current affairs. And also we get advices that Yojana and Kurukshetra is also very much important for current affairs. So these many resources are there just for current affairs. So what I did was, I tried to go through all these resources at the beginning, and I handpicked some of the resources so that things don't overlap. What I read in PIB, I should not be reading the same thing in PRS also. So what I did was, I selected few resources out of this, so that I can optimize my preparation. I need not read the same thing in different sources. That is what I made sure. If I read something in PIB, I'm not going to touch that in PRS. And also, not all the sources. I tried to follow newspaper, Yojana and Kurukshetra without fail. They have helped me almost to 80 to 90% of my current affairs preparation. The other 10% I tried to take the help of coaching institutes magazines. So in this way, minimum resources, maximum impact policy will definitely help us. Because whenever we pile up many books, for example, take geography. Geography can be studied to 11th standard geography book also, 11th and 12th. At the same time, Leong book, JC Leong book also can be bought for geography. So now things should not be overlapping. It leads to wastage of time and wastage of energy. And also, if we could not read all these books, that has a psychological impact on us, that we haven't finished the syllabus yet. That should not be the case, right? So minimum resources is something which I recommend to everyone. Choose your best resources and get going. And coming to the online sources have very much helped nowadays for UPSC preparation. In fact, for me also, I have followed IAS Baba TLP program. This is for mains answer writing. 5 questions are uploaded in IAS Baba portal, which we will be practicing, and he will be uploading the best answers which we can compare and include the extra points. So in this way, I improved my answer writing skills through IAS Baba TLP program. Apart from this, I also used to give mock tests for prelims as much as possible in online platforms like Vision and Insights. That also helped me up to some extent. And also, any current affairs material or matter, I used to refer Vision magazines for extra information. If anything is left out outside Hindu paper and Yojana Kurukshetra, I tried to glance those issues in Vision magazines also. So in this way, I used optimally the online resources. At the same time, I was attending offline coaching classes also, right? So both things I tried to use as much as possible. So coming to my scheduling, my schedule used to be in such a way that both long term and short term planning is included. I used to prepare a micro schedule, at the same time I used to have a long term vision. Let's say I made up my mind to study polity the whole week. That may not be that much helpful for me. So what I did was, I used to study at least 3 subjects every day: polity, geography, environment, or let's say disaster management, economy, and Indian society. So in this way, I used to ensure at least I touch 3 GS subjects and also optional. So this is what I have done till the mains exams. So I tried to ensure I touch upon at least 3 subjects in the general studies and also my optional every day. And whatever topics I used to see in the newspaper, the issues, I tried to connect them to the subjects which I was reading that day. So in this way, I used to ensure I don't lose balance or I don't lose grip in any of the subjects. Ultimately, we have to score decent enough in all the papers. Only then we'll be making up to the final list. So with this logic, what I tried to do was to make sure at least I go through 3 subjects and optional subject every day. So this is what that helped me in my scheduling. And my daily routine is just like normal routine. I used to make sure I study 9 to 10 hours dedicatedly for civil services every day. Apart from those 10 hours, I used to do some household chores because I used to live individually in a penthouse, so I used to have some work, and I used to make sure I balance my physical health and mental health also. They are very much important in UPSC preparation, especially for the students like me who go to Hyderabad and Delhi for coaching. Food issues, health issues, proper sleep, and physical fitness, these all are also equally important. A healthy body makes up a healthy mind, right? So that is why we need to have physical fitness and mental fitness. We have to balance these along with our preparation. That's what I tried to ensure. So this is my daily routine: 9 to 10 hours of dedicated preparation every day, guys, not more than that. And my timetable, as I've already said, it is dynamic timetable. I mostly used to avoid setting up timetables like this whole month I will study polity or this whole week I'll study geography. No, that was not my approach. I tried to make sure my timetable accommodates as many subjects as possible. If I am studying polity, geography, and environment today, I would be practicing answers on economy, and I will be reading optional, and I will be writing one essay. So in this way, I used to make sure I touch upon all the things. So in this way, my scheduling or timetable used to be there. And this is my second attempt, or rather I should say first serious attempt. I gave an attempt after my graduation in the year 2017 just to get the flavor of the examination, the difficulty levels of the examination. And after 2018, I've quit my job in Tata Steel, Jamshedpur, and for 1 year, I dedicatedly took coaching for UPSC, and I gave the exam in 2019, which I cleared with 428 rank. So you can say this is my first serious and sincere attempt. So some do's and don'ts related to civil services preparation. Some do's are must and should be done is first is hard work. Hard work is very much important for this examination. Just look at the competition for this examination. There are a number of people who are appearing for this examination. So hard work is very much important for this examination. At the same time, smart work is also very much needed to clear this examination. No doubt we need to study hours, but how effectively are we studying? That also matters. How much effective information is getting into our brain every day? That is actually which matters. How much civil services syllabus relevant material are we learning every day? That is what matters. So, in this perspective, hard work is important, but smart work is also important. A blend of these two will definitely make your preparation easy and interesting. What to leave, what to study, where to focus, all these come under smart work, right? So that is also very much required. And consistency is something which is very much required in an examination like UPSC. Why is consistency important? Because this is one such examination where we have a lot of uncertainty and an unpredictability. Competition is very high. So this can be cleared in the first attempt or in the second attempt or in third attempt. So one who is dedicated to have his career in civil services has to have patience and consistency in his efforts. Every day you need to consistently put in your efforts. So even I used to have a doubt when I cleared prelims. I used to have a doubt whether I will make it up till the final list or not. But then I used to believe in my hard work and keep efforts every day. After I cleared mains, then also I was in a dilemma. What is the scenario if I can't clear the interview? But still then I used to remove those thoughts and focus on my efforts so that I can clear the interview. So in this way, consistency, patience, hard work and smart work are very much important, and a balance is very much important in one's life. A balance. Not only UPSC preparation or civil services preparation should consume all your day. A balance should be there. Keep time for stress relief also. Just hang out with your friends, have some quality discussions or spend time with your parents. So in this way, I used to relieve my stress, because this is one examination where stress might be building up because of the hard work we will be putting up in learning things. So that is something which we need to take care of. And some of the don'ts are resources. Don't keep so many resources around you for UPSC preparation. Online sources, use them as much as required. Offline sources, use them as much as required. Individual preparation, give it more scope. Group discussions, use it only as much as required. Don't rely on one single source for everything. Don't rely on the coaching institutes for everything. Don't rely on group discussions and friends for all the knowledge. Don't rely completely on online resources. That is what I want to give you as a suggestion. The don'ts is, don't rely on one single source for the complete UPSC preparation. My advice is, try to get the best from different sources. One institute may be good for interview guidance, another might be good for essay, another faculty is giving good knowledge about how to write GS answers. Get the best from everything and give your best in the exams, right? So don't rely on one single source, and don't go for peer pressures, right? Don't go for peer pressures, and keep your mind so stable and calm. Patience is required for this examination. Only when our mind is peaceful and calm, only then we can focus better in this examination and we can achieve success in this examination. So these are some things. And coming to my interview, it was a very diverse one. Almost all the topics were touched upon. It started from how my initial Kolla Battula came, and it ended by asking a question on IT raids, income tax raids on Chaitanya and Narayana colleges. So in this way, a lot of topics were asked. In fact, China or Pakistan, which is a bigger threat to India? A question was asked for me, and then I said it was China. So then they have gone into India China ties. What are the disputes? How to resolve them? And what is the way forward? What are the border disputes? In this way, many questions were asked. And in fact, a question related to Indian society was also asked. One of the interesting question the chairperson has asked me was whether children have values in the present society or not. In the context where value system is being neglected in the academic curriculum, do children have value systems or not? This was a question asked to me. This was a tricky and an interesting question. So I gave an answer saying not only academic curriculum, but there are other sources like family, society, technology, which expose an individual to various values and ideologies, right? So in this way the interview went very well. Me being working in Jamshedpur, they have asked me to compare Jharkhand and Andhra Pradesh and come up with some common problems, how to solve tribal issues, how to reduce left-wing extremisms. All such questions were asked for me. In fact, my optional is public administration, so they have also asked me what is the difference between an administrator and a manager, how will I administer, and coming to agriculture, they have asked me how can FMCGs be used for agriculture development. I spoke about contract farming. They've even asked me three capitals issue of Andhra Pradesh, because I am hailing from Andhra Pradesh, so they've asked me about that issue. They have also asked me about English medium education in government schools in the state of AP. So home state based questions were also asked. In this way, almost all the topics were touched upon for me in the interview, and it was a very good experience. And I was somewhat confident that I could answer all the questions. And yes, the marks we will be knowing in the coming future. So coming to the importance of mock tests and mock interviews. Mock tests expose you to all possible questions and dimensions about a single topic. Let's say a topic like GST. One test series will be testing you in one dimension, another test series will be testing the same topic in another dimension. So as many mock tests as possible will help you to get knowledge in the prelims oriented approach, even for mains also. So one issue, how to analyze it in different dimensions, we will get to know that only through mock tests. Only when we give practice we can know our mistakes also. And if we do mistakes in the mock test, definitely those mistakes we will not be doing in the main examination, right? So in this way mock tests are very much important. Studying the knowledge, having knowledge, studying the books is important, but practicing revision is equally important, and that practicing is possible only by the mock tests and the mock interviews. So they are very much necessary. In fact, I have given mock interviews in Hyderabad and also in Delhi. So these have helped me a lot. Why? Because mock interviews exposed me to all possible questions from a detailed application form, DAF. That is my entire data will be there in that, and from there only mostly questions will be asked. So mock interviews asked all possible questions from my DAF, which prepared me mentally for risky questions, difficult questions, and also easy questions. So all in the final interview of UPSC, almost many questions which the panel has asked, I was exposed to those questions before itself in the mock interview. So in this way I could answer them more confidently with better presentation skills, right? So that fetched me a lot in the interview. So mock interviews and mock tests are very much important. And keeping our mind fresh, keeping our mind energetic is very much important. For that I used to do a 15 minutes of meditation in the morning, look myself into the mirror and say yes, I can do it. And then I used to start my work. 8:30 I used to go for the coaching classes, 8:30 and 9 around. And in the evening I used to go for a walk, or I used to do some physical exercise as much as possible, just to keep my health properly and also for physical fitness. So in this way I used to keep my mind fresh and energetic. And every Sunday I used to watch a picture. I used to watch a picture which is somewhat relevant to our UPSC preparation. I used to hand pick movies and I used to watch those pictures. So in this way I used to balance my entertainment, and also at the same time my preparation, and this helped me a lot. And coming to the social media, now one common thing which we can see is people uninstalling their apps and moving away from social media for these 2 3 or 4 whatso years till they clear the examination. Okay, that is one approach which people follow, but my approach was even to use social media effectively for our preparation, I go with zero tolerance policy. So broadly, my strategy for this entire 2 years was zero tolerance policy. That is, whatever I do, I try to make sure that can be connected to UPSC. So let's take WhatsApp. WhatsApp can waste our time, can drain our energy, but at the same time, if properly used, the same WhatsApp can be used for making groups which can give good practice for answer writing. I used to pick up 3 to 4 students, we used to form a group, and we used to write answer writing and share our answers in that group. And anyone, if they had doubt in any topic, they used to post in that group and we used to discuss on that group. So in this way, even WhatsApp and social media platforms can be effectively used, right? And in fact, the latest knowledge we can get from the social media, there are a number of pages in social media which are relevant to UPSC. In Instagram we have UPSC Pathshala, so that is one page which gives exclusive information in the UPSC civil services perspective. So why can't we follow those pages? Why can't we make effective use of social media, right? So this is one advice or suggestion which I want to give you. And the importance of coaching, as I have previously said, don't rely on coaching completely. I have taken my mains and interview coaching from CSB IAS Academy in Hyderabad. But the suggestion which I want to give is, yes, coaching very much helps us, but it can't completely make us prepared to fight in the examination. If you ask me, 30 to 35% the coaching institute plays its role. The next 60 to 65% is our efforts, our planning and our time management, right? So coaching is useful because it gives us a guide. It gives us the guiding path as to what to leave, what to study, where to focus, which previous year questions are important, how to study. All these things will be told by the coaching institutes. However, that is not the only thing. We should have our own strategy, right? So coaching institutes are important, but we can see many people even in this year also who have cleared civil services examination without taking any preparation, coaching, right? They have done through self preparation. So that is also possible. We have platforms like Unacademy and various other platforms which give self preparation chances. They give the online classes itself. So that is one way of preparing, guys. But yes, if coaching is there, that will definitely guide us and help us. It makes our things easy. Rather than doing mistake and learning from it, coaching institute will help us to avoid doing some mistakes. So in that way, coaching institutes are important. And the final advice for me to all the UPSC aspirants is, youth is the future of the nation. So for all the youth who took civil services as their career choice, one advice which I want to give is, develop spirit of service in yourself. The spirit of service will make your UPSC preparation process also very easy. There is a myth that we need to remember a lot of facts, we need to remember a lot of concepts in UPSC. But if we develop the spirit of service, rather than remembering these issues in the society, we will be realizing these issues in the society, which makes our preparation easy and interesting and thought-provoking also. We will not then try to remember the issues, we'll try to realize the issues, and automatically we will be able to put them on paper. So spirit of service is something which I advise the UPSC aspirants to develop, which makes your preparation easy. Thank you.